Looks like it's gonna rain on us today a little. Oh no.
Storming.
Not that. Oh no. That's not what I prefer. It's not the type of weather we prefer, is it, Carter? Look at a patch. We patched it.
Yeah, finally.
And it works. And I got the little rack back on there, whatever you want to call that. Yep. Listen to that rain. It sounds beautiful, but it's a little dangerous too when you're out here in the with these trees this close. They say the vehicles are supposed to be safe because of the tires being rubber, but I've seen footage of them getting struck before. A truck getting struck. Which, I mean, that may be some truth to that. I definitely feel safer in it. Got our rack back up, and there's a little patch we did. But yeah, it's coming down out here. I think I might have to get in the truck and wait a little bit. I knew they was giving a chance of rain today, but I was hoping. We need it bad. We need it very bad here in Kentucky. I don't know about everywhere else. We haven't had a good rain here in the last month. So we needed it very bad. Very bad. Yeah, it definitely looks like fall now. Okay, I'm getting in for a little bit. It's lightning. All right, we're stuck in the truck for now.
Yeah.
It's pouring down rain. Let's see. It's fogging up in here. Let me get some air in here. As you can hear, and as you can see, it's pouring down pretty good right now. So we're staying in here. Let's stay in here until it calms down a little bit. Hopefully, that won't be too long. We needed this rain very bad in Kentucky. I haven't mowed for over a month, and I don't plan to mow any more this year, actually. The grass is getting brown where we haven't had rain in so long. It is coming down. Coming down. And what's even more dangerous is it's thundering and lightning too. You can see lightning out there. So yeah, it's calming down a lot. Thunder sounds like it's moving that way. So good. Look how pretty that is though. Ain't that beautiful? Sun coming through these tree buffs like that while it's raining like that. That is pretty. Yeah, it's calmed down a lot. I'm about to get out if it keeps doing this. But anyways, there's an oak down that way. I've shown it before in a video where I felled a tree. I seen it back here on this logging trail that's been down for probably close to 3 years now. And so we're gonna go back there, cut that up, see what we can get from it. And if I need to add more to it, I will. But that's the one we're gonna start. Had to put a new pull string in my Macolo. Broke the old one. Had to adjust the carb on it now and then as well. May try to clean that out later. And I mentioned before wanting to have this saw port. That's something I've been looking into a lot here lately myself, is how to port saws. And one of the guys I watched on there, you all probably, a lot of people that are interested in Firewood have probably seen the guy, Tin Man, I think his name is, and he just uses a Dremel. And so it really doesn't seem that complicated. Something I may try out myself. I would like to port this Macolo. And the Johnson Red I have, I think the guy that I bought it from, Daniel, he's already ported it, he said. But I do like those Macolos a lot. Or that Macolo. That's the first one I've ever had. First Macolo I've ever had. I'm usually a steel guy all the way, 100%. I really am. I like steel a whole lot myself. Still love steel. Even though I really like those Macolos, that Macolo's really attracted me to that brand of saw. It really has. I mean, the first one I've got, I'm pretty impressed with it. It is a professional saw too, though, that one there, ProMac 1010S. But I would like to have a 28-inch bar on it to where I'm not bending over all the time. A 20-inch bar, you might not have to bend too much if you do it right, but a lot of times I'm having to bend over or lean over or whatever. I'd like to have a 28-inch bar on it, really. And I'm thinking I may have to port it in order for it to get the power to run that. My Johnson Red can already run a 28-inch bar, I believe. I've had a 24-inch on it and runs it no problem. But this is red oak here. This is right around the area that we've seen the black snake, me and Carter. It's in one of our other videos of me felling a tree. And it was a big black snake too. Right around where I'm standing there, if I'm not mistaken, is where it was. But I had remembered this tree, that it was down when we were back looking for, walking those logging roads looking for a tree to fell. I was looking for a dead tree that I could fell with an axe. And while I was back that way, I found this oak. And so we kind of had to cut our way through the logging road a little bit and then make our way back there to it. There was quite a bit more of it that went into the brush there, but I didn't want to fool with it really. I mean, it had briars all over it, real thick thorns. I cannot stand getting into thorns. I don't think anyone really likes thorns, really. Okay, this old logging road here, got 15 rounds out of that. It's red oak. 15 rounds out of this red oak here. But what I'm gonna do is clear this road a little bit and pull forward, that way I can throw them into the back of the truck. Make a little bit more out of it. It goes on into the, as I said there, this came out to 15 rounds, I believe. That's what I cut out of that red oak. Glad to have that rack back on the back window too. And then I've just got it patched as well with another piece of plexiglass. And what I didn't show in the video is whenever I poked the hose through with the nails, I just got the nails really hot and held it with a pair of pliers. And once I did that, I stuck some little bolts through as well, and bought some nuts that fit them, and so that secured it for the most part. Here's this cobalt splitting for the first time, I think, that I split with it. And honestly, it splits great. I don't like to feel the handle a whole lot. The handle's just a little too thick, to be honest. It's like it puts a strain on your hands, especially when you're chopping with it. You can really feel your hand muscles. That it's not as it's just a little thick. And I won't say too much right now. I'll let you keep watching, but it does split great. I'll say that much. I'll say another thing though as well. Whenever you're getting an axe from the store like that, just check the handles out before you even get them. Make sure they're not cracked or don't have any cracks running down them or anything like that before you buy them. And this red oak, it splits great. I'm always happy to get some red oak. White oak is a different story altogether. And then that hickory that I did here a while back, which I'm pretty sure now that is hickory. A lot of people mentioned that they thought it was, and I'm pretty sure that it is as well, for many reasons. But that stuff was pretty bad to split. I had a little bit more of that left there, and I just left it alone. I'll plan to split it later too, though. I'm ended up loading this up, and it started, if I'm not mistaken, started raining. What I was saying there a little bit ago is that it started raining, if I'm not mistaken, on us on the way home or on the way of leaving there, and so I scheduled a load for tomorrow morning. Supposed to be there around 8:30 or 9. But that'll be another one down, and $2.20 for this load. It's outside of my county, so I charge a little extra for gas, and it's up to you what you charge, really. Gas prices right now still aren't the greatest, and my truck's a V8. One good thing about it's a standard 6-speed, so I do believe that helps some with gas. And when I'm able to put it in 6th gear, I believe I can save gas like that. And it's a 4.7, so not a real big V8 either. I was up late last night working on something. I've noticed a lot of other YouTube channels sell, they call it merchandise, if I'm not mistaken, but it's like apparel, like hoodies and sweatshirts and hats and coffee mugs and quite a bit more stuff. And so I kind of looked into it here recently and ended up finding something online to where you create your own design, but you put it on their clothing, and you make money from it when they sell. So I recently made a design, and I've calling it Axeman is what I've kind of called it, just because that's what it says, Axeman. And I'm sure you can tell, but that's kind of a lot of what my channel is about. Firewood, of course, but I use an axe, and I'm very interested in axemanship, and not saying I'm against log splitters, as I've said before, but I'm definitely more into axes myself. I really like using axes, and just like how it feels to use an axe. I like how natural it is, and I like how far back it goes. It connects to humans, how far back it connects, because I believe it used to be a normal thing for our ancestors to have an axe, to warm their homes, and to be able to cook on and everything else. I believe they used axes felling trees back then. So I'm into them myself quite a bit, and so I made a logo, I guess you could call it. I think on there they call it a product or something, a design for the product. But I made a design, and it's called Axeman, and it has a Bible scripture with it, just a short one, just a few words. But I really like how it turned out, and so I've got those posted now. If anybody is ever interested in something like that, and I'll be wearing them soon myself. I plan to get one of the coffee mugs as well. But it's just a way to try to make some extra money, because as I said before, my wife's a stay-at-home mother, and then with this YouTube thing, it takes a lot of time. And even though I enjoy it, the main reason I'm doing it is for another form of income, to be honest, because with prices the way they are now, and with me being the only one working and us having 4 children now, we just recently had our 4th, I'm not at all by no means trying to be a rich man or anything like that, and don't plan to ever be I doubt I ever will be. But I would like to make enough money to where not only me and my family are comfortable, but honestly, I'd like to try to help out other people as well. That's my goal, anyways. I'm 30 years old right now. I'll be 31 in February. And when me and my wife first got together, I was pretty much digging myself out of a hole from past mistakes. I was an alcoholic pretty much, and had got DUIs and everything. I'm not proud to admit any of that. And I was just in trouble all the time. Just before I met my wife and had my children, I went through a phase of just, I didn't really care what happened to me, to be honest. I was just in trouble a lot. And so I haven't drunk for years now. I drunk a drop of alcohol, and it was after I had started going to church before me and my wife met, but then I got out and just went right back to the same old stuff. And then after we got together, we started going together, and it helped us so much. We grew so much in that, in a good way. And then having my children too has just changed my outlook on a lot of things too. I believe my papa always used to say this. He's my great papa actually, but he said they don't ask to be brought into this world. You know, little children, they don't ask to be brought into this world. We bring them into it, and it's our responsibility to take care of them. And I couldn't imagine ever how some of these parents nowadays just don't take care of their children and give them away and all these things. And it's just a shame to me. There's nothing no more precious than a little child. But I'm very thankful for my family, very blessed with them. Very thankful for my wife. I have a good wife. She got a little temper sometimes, but I do too. I guess we all got our anger and stuff sometimes. If we don't watch, we can all get angry and say things and do things that we shouldn't. Me and my wife have, in the past especially, had some bad arguments in the past. That's not the way I ever want to live, though. I'm very thankful, and we have a good relationship for the most part. We both just sometimes get a little too short-tempered with one another. Or I guess sometimes things can be stressful too. And that's why I tell her sometimes we need to not look at the negative so much. We need to look at the positive and just how blessed we are really in life.
Wow.
So much for that handle. Split all the way up it. I don't even think I hit anything. I noticed this the other day though. It had a thin crack going all the way down through it. And that's where it split out on both sides. See that thin crack there? I should have paid attention to the handle more when I bought it. But it had a thin crack going all the way down through it, like the wood had dried out there or something and it was splitting. If you look close, see this crack right here? I noticed that the other day. It's exactly where it split. See that? As you can see here, right here, it's not all beat up here. It's just where it came out from where it split. You can see where it came out right there, some, where it split. This isn't all beat up. I didn't bang this up. So out of nowhere just now I looked and there it was. The handle was split. So that right there changes my review big time. I mean, at least I don't know if all their handles are that bad or if it's just the one I grabbed was kind of splitting already. It looked like when you see a crack on the round, how it's naturally split, and that's what this looked like. See, you can see the crack right there. And then right there on that side. And you can see where it's kind of come out of the head there. And I was showing it to Daniel the other day, and he, a guy that I know, and he even said the same thing. He said, look at that where it's splitting down the side. And I hadn't noticed it, and he showed me. I said, wow, yeah, it is, isn't it? Sure enough, that's where it cracked, that little thin crack. So if you do grab one of these, make sure you grab one that doesn't have a handle that's already somehow splitting. from the store. Yeah, I'll have to rehang it. Anyways, that's a shame about that axe, really, but I was showing it to Daniel the other day, actually, when I was at his place. He's the guy that I bought a couple of my saws from, and I didn't even realize it, but he pointed it out to the crack that was running down both sides of the handle, and it was going from the head almost all the way to the end of the handle, and it was just a thin little crack, and on both sides. And he said, well, maybe it won't, give you too much trouble or something to that nature. And I was thinking to myself when I seen it, man, I wonder how well this will hold up splitting when I use it now that I see that. And sure enough, the first day I used it, the whole handle split right where the crack was, all the way down both sides. And I'm guessing it was like that when I bought it, because it was a very hard crack to see. Really, it wasn't a big crack by any means, but he pointed it out, and I noticed it after he pointed it out. I don't think I did that to it. I don't think I banged the handle up really much at all. The only thing I'd really done with it before that was chop a little bit, and I cut an oak down, but I examined it after that, and I didn't notice any damage on it, and I don't remember that I recall of hitting it wrong or anything. Not that I remember anyway. So I think it was like that when I bought it, and really I should have checked it out a little bit better. But it's a shame, really, that brand new axe, the first day you use it to split, that happens. But it split really good. The head did. I plan to rehang it. That's something I have trouble doing, is really finding a real good handle, which maybe some of those other hickory ones at Lowe's are better. I really think, honestly, that one had those splits going down it when I bought it. Maybe many of the other cobalts that you buy, they don't have that at all, maybe. But anyways, I'll try some of those hickory from there. The ones at the Peddler's Mall, some of them seem to be good, and some of them as well just somebody mentioned that they thought maybe they were remakes or something like that. I can't remember what they called them. Rejects. Handles have been rejected, I guess, and it very well may be, because some of the ones I've got from there, they just didn't hold up very good at all. And I know how to use an axe to keep it from getting busted up and keep the handle from splitting. The Fiskars, I don't worry about that at all. You don't have to worry about that with Fiskars. But I know how to do it with a wooden handle. I know how to not reach over and to use the flick and take the sides off and all of that. You'll notice too, when you see me split with this Fiskars, I don't care to reach over. Now, if I got a wooden handle axe, I won't do that. Or if I do, I'll try to use the flick or whatever techniques to keep from busting my handle up. With this, I don't worry about that. It doesn't even leave a nick on this handle. But when I was using that cobalt, I was being careful, and it's still busted. But as I said, I don't think it's because I hit it wrong or anything like that. The handle had a split on both sides going from the head nearly all the way down the handle on both sides, and it was a thin crack. And Daniel was talking with me about it the other day, and we were even kind of talking about how, I think I told him when I seen it, I said, well, I wonder how long it'll last. I haven't split with it yet even. At that point, I hadn't even split with that axe.
No, I chopped the tree down.
So, but that handle wasn't the greatest. That would bring my review of that axe, honestly. The head's great. Taking the price into account and everything, I would give it a 5 after that. Not the greatest. The handle, I mean, to me, brand new handle like that, split on both sides all the way down the middle. It looked like where it had dried out over time or something. It was just a thin crack going down both sides. Yeah, I was a little disappointed with that, to be honest. I definitely expected it to hold up more than one day. But it is what it is. I like to take care of my tools, but I'm not the kind of guy by any means that treats a tool as if it's not replaceable. Or, I understand some things can be sentimental as well and important to you, but a tool is a tool to me. A piece of metal is a piece of metal. A piece of wood is a piece of wood. I don't try to treat those like they're my children or something. Like I care that much about them, because I really don't. Of course I want to take care of myself. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if something breaks, it breaks.
Here's an example.
Even with a vehicle.
I'm reaching over.
But I know some people take that a lot more serious than others, and maybe they have their reasons and stuff, but to me, it just, a tool's a tool. What I was saying right there as well is that would have been a situation where I was reaching over with that Fiskars, and that would have been a situation where it would have split the handle on a wooden handle. Looks like I've about got most of it here. This ended up making almost a truck bed full. Not even a full truck bed, but close to it. Probably 3/4 of a truck bed load with these 15 rounds or so. Or wherever it's comfortable. Right there. I'm just gonna hold it. You gotta hit it hard. Go. Right in the middle. Put a piece. You gotta hit it hard.
It's hard.
Up there. Slide it down hard. Let me help you. There we go. Still need some years. I held that while he was swinging it. I wasn't gonna let him hurt himself. He won't be able to do that for a while still. Better start eating your Wheaties, boy. I didn't say your meaties or your weenies. It definitely feels like firewood season now. I'm sure a lot of other people think that as well. With the weather changing the way it has recently, it's actually been getting below freezing here sometimes in the mornings and at night. And even, I think here recently, we even got a frost, if I'm not mistaken. So it definitely that time of year. Honestly, I always look forward to it myself. I do landscaping in the summer, and by the time it's coming to an end, I'm ready to be done with it, to be honest with you. I love landscaping, but to be honest, I like firewood more. I do. I enjoy firewood more than I do landscaping. Things may change in my plans here later on as far as firewood goes. Like, I do plan to grow it and things like that, the business. And as I said, I don't just do it. I do landscaping as well. I also do junk removal. To where and some of those jobs I do are turn into some pretty big jobs. I think I made around 5,000 on one, which it was a big job, and I was there for a while. But it was the biggest one I've ever done yet. And I ended up going and taking a couple guys with me that help me every now and then. Sonny and Josh, you've seen them in the videos maybe. But we went to this big house, and it was probably the nastiest house I'd ever been in my life. And I'm not saying that trying to be mean, but the dogs had used the bathroom on the floor for years. I mean, it was probably, I'm not exaggerating saying this either, it was probably 6 inches deep on those carpets. And I ended up removing the carpets, and then which was extremely disgusting. And I'm not exaggerating either. These carpets were so heavy. I cut them into sections. They were so heavy, I still had to wrap a strap around them and hook it to my truck outside and run that strap through the front door and pull those carpets through. That's how heavy they were. And the guy ended up renting a dumpster. I can't remember how big. It was a big one. But we filled it up, I think, 3 or 4 times. And then my truck load a couple times too. And then I took a couple loads of scrap metal off as well from there. But it turned into a big job. I took a big deck down around back for them. Ended up removing not only the carpets, but I removed the floors as well, which were also very nasty. The woman there, they said she had stepped on a nail or something, and it paralyzed her, I guess. They were looking for her and couldn't find her, and her husband went there to check on her, and he looked through the window. There was a window beside their front door, and he seen her laying on the couch, and she wasn't responding. So I think he busted the window or broke down the door one. I can't remember how they said, but he went in there and found her laying on the couch, and she was paralyzed, I guess. I can't remember what happened to her exactly. She stepped on a rusty nail mowing, and ended up messing her up pretty bad. But that turned into a big job. I know I was kind of rambling there, but I enjoy junk removal as well. I mean, it's there's sometimes I'll do that, and I've used a trailer as well. I sold the trailer recently, I went through this past year probably 4 trailers or something of that nature, and sold them all at this point. Got some poplar cut up here, and Carter's gonna stand those up while I keep cutting. I'm gonna cut some more oak. So here will be some poplar mixed in with what's in there already, which is all red oak. I'm gonna mix a little poplar in there with it, and probably some white oak. I go up close to the rails, and I come nearly all the way back with it, usually when I do it. It's a pretty good load of wood. Preacher at church, but he's the one that gave me that kind of rack right there. I don't know what you'd call that, little metal rack. And then behind it, we've got some, I'll probably add that clip in here. Haven't edited this video yet, but I've just put another piece of plexiglass over that one and bolted it in. So that's sealed now for the most part. Hopefully that rack will keep it from getting it again. This is how it goes sometimes. For me anyways, the way I'm getting the wood now. Having to get it from back there, somewhere back there. Bring it up this way, goes up a hill. And then, gotta get them close to the truck, sling them over. There's another one I'm taking. And then over there are the rest. Get to it, get this finished up. These last 3 here, this red oak, those are gonna be some heavy rounds. Probably 75, 80 pounds, something like that. If not, maybe a little more.
Moving.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna.
Too close.
I gotta let you go first.
Get my truck in here though, so the option is do it the way I'm doing it, or split them here, then take the time to carry all them little pieces to the truck. And
No.
I'd rather carry these.
Yeah.
And I know this ain't for everybody. It's going to be different for different people. I've been doing this for a while, and I'm not saying it's good for your back or anything like that, but I weigh about 270, so it ain't as hard on me as it would be for a man that's maybe 170. I'm not saying a 170-pound man can't work, because when I was 170 pounds, I was lifting heavy stuff too, and training and stuff. I'm not saying that this is the hardest thing in the world, but this is the way that I have to do it, really, to make money the way that I'm doing it now. I've been doing it this way for years, for the most part. Don't always have to carry it this far, because normally what I try to do is just get my truck close to it. But right now, this wood pile, there was so much wood, all the stuff that was easy to access, I've already got for the most part. There's still some stuff up here behind Carter, but I'm still gonna have to hook a chain to that and drag it out. I just haven't got around to doing that yet. I do plan to do that sometime. Plans change a lot too as well though, with life and work and all kinds of things. So right now, I'm just trying to get this wood to this man. And in order to do that, I happen to come in here and get it and bring it out. Like I said, I could split it right here, but then I gotta carry all them little pieces out. I'd rather carry these out myself. If you can't carry these, or you don't want to or whatever, then the best thing to do would be to split them right here and then carry them out, or wheelbarrow them out or something. But
Yeah.
this isn't the best terrain anyways, so I can make a lot fewer trips if I just carry these big rounds, even though they're a lot heavier, a lot harder on your body. As I said, I'm a 270-pound guy, and I'm pretty stout, so that doesn't mean this can't hurt me easily. But anyways, this is how I'm doing it.
Number 2.
That one's a good 100 pounds right there. Every bit of it, I would guess. This one yet.
Really?
Yeah, that's a 100 pounder. At least, I'd say. That might be a 130 pounder or something. That's a heavy round right there.
Surprised you picked it up with one hand.
That's heavy. That might be more than that. I don't know exactly. After this, I gotta split them, and load them, and deliver them, and unload them, and get paid, and go home, and relax, and love relaxing. Do this through the day. When you get home, you're happy to sit back and relax. It feels great to sit back in a recliner with some coffee, watch your kids run around playing. It makes you enjoy it a lot more. If I just sit at home all day, I get tired of sitting. I don't like it. I get restless. I'm a man. I got to provide for my family. The bills keep coming. So when I'm doing this, it's like a stress reliever. Then when I get home and I know I've got all this done, then I can sit and relax and enjoy the relaxing part.
Yeah.
Plus your body, you're just glad when you sit back in the recliner after working all day like this, or working all day period, you know, working at a factory, wherever you work. When you get home, it feels good to sit down.
Yeah, one of your son's famous
I'm sure
coffees.
everybody knows that. Huh?
And one of my favorite coffees.
Yep.
Coffees.
Carter's my coffee maker most of the time.
Yeah.
At home, I just tell him to go make it for me. We got a Keurig, and you just pretty much just gotta put a little K-cup in it and push a button, and you got a coffee. Okay, this one looks much lighter than those two. Thank goodness. That last one was horrible. I don't recommend it, honestly, doing it like this for most people. I mean, I'm not saying not to come out and work like I am, but lifting these big heavy ones and put them on your shoulder, I don't recommend that.
Touch your arm.
I'm going to keep doing that. I've been told my whole life to watch out and be careful, and I know that, and I do try to be careful, but I got a time limit too with things sometimes, and I have to meet that, and that's what I'm trying to do. So
Let's lift it.
how I do it. Might be a cardi. Oh, that's way lighter. Half the weight of that last one.
Me?
It feels 50 or 60 pounds.
My weight?
Yeah, this one weighs about as much as a little cardi.
That he means me.
Much lighter. I could carry these all day. That one, I wouldn't want to carry them all day. Much lighter.
You know, I carry one of those and say I'm done.
That one might be a baby behemoth. It ain't quite a behemoth, but I might call that one a baby behemoth. Not me, that. Later, I might get me and you one of those helmet cameras.
Yeah.
So you can walk around wearing one.
Yeah.
Like when you're loading, and it'll record it. Okay, we got some good poplar, white oak, and red oak here, and I'm hoping these will be enough to. I think they will. These are some big rounds.
Oh yeah.
That round right there, that big one, that's probably a 120 pounder. I ain't joking with that. That thing's heavy. All right, come on, Carter. Let's get this done.
Watch.
Some of the trailers that I got were fixer-uppers too. I would buy them for pretty cheap and then put a little bit of money and work into them and then resell them. But there was a couple different times, if I'm not mistaken, I bought camper trailers, and I ended up tearing the camper off and turning them into dual axle trailers because they were dual axles. They had two axles on them, and I ended up putting a floor on one of them and painting it and putting some lights on it, and ended up selling it. It's a good way to get you a dual axle trailer, though. It really just find an old camper and tear the camper off of it, scrap that. Excuse me. Scrap that camper, the part, the metal from it, and then put you a floor on it. There was a junk removal job I remember doing as well back in the summer, and this guy called me to just come get it. I think it was a couch or a love seat. That's all it was. And I show up there with my truck, and I done gave him a price on it. And normally if somebody was to take this stuff off to the dump, they would have to pay a dump fee. And the minimum dump fee now is $40. But one thing that I do, like if I get a couch or something like that, I'll bring it home and I'll burn it. And The metal that's left, I'll pile it up, and when I get a lot of metal, I'll take it to the scrapyard. But anyways, I charged them $100 for it. Went there. It took me maybe 10 minutes to load this thing up. I mean, that's counting strapping it down and everything probably. And he walked outside and gave me $200. And I told him, I said, "Are you sure about that?" I said, "You don't have to give me that much." It took me maybe 10 minutes and made $200 in that amount of time. So junk removal is something I really enjoy a lot as well. I quit the mowing just because with mowing I was doing 3 different counties, and it was just a lot of driving, to be honest. I just, and a lot of rushing too, really. I was doing it mainly by myself. I would have guys helping me every now and then, and it was very hard to find somebody that was dependable helper and who would actually show up. And some of the guys I would hire, I mean, I'd be better off just by myself by the time I paid them. I would pay them $100 a day, and then by the time I did that with what little bit of work we got done from what I was wanting, really, it just wasn't worth it to me. And that's why I don't really like to hire helpers at all anymore. Like my sons, I plan to use both of them as helpers when I get older. That's the way my papa did with my dad and my uncle. They all work together. And I think that can work out really good. Especially if you get them started from a young age, kind of the way I'm trying to do with Carter. I used to go with my papa on them when I was a little boy. I'd usually always ride in the middle. It was a lot of times, sometimes my dad wouldn't go, but it'd be me and my uncle and my papa, and I would usually always ride in the middle of an old truck, whatever it was they was driving at the time, and they would do construction, roofing, things like that. They were very good at it too. My uncle still is. He's like a handyman. He's just good with mechanics and all kinds of stuff like that. My dad's a good roofer. But I plan to use my sons when they get older. It's just hard to find dependable help. It truly is. But I really like the junk removal, and there's a lot of things I've got in my head as far as the businesses go that I do. Because I do firewood, landscaping, and junk removal is what I do now. And I've got different ideas and stuff for the future. I also would like to get into some more woodworking, but I've got to choose which ones are more valuable for my time. Because you don't want to get into too many different things, or you want to invest your time wisely in whatever it is you're doing. The way I feel anyways. If you get into too many things, it kind of takes away time that you can invest in the other businesses that you're doing. So I've been thinking a lot about it, and really firewood is one thing I'm wanting to grow more in. So I've kind of got some plans for that. It's hard to believe we're already into around mid-October now. As I was out there getting the wood earlier, right around the area that I get the wood from in Bath County, Preston, they have something called Court Day there. And we have one in Mount Sterling too, and it's which is the county that I live. It's a city in the county that I live in, and it's the biggest festival in Kentucky, from what I've heard, from what I've read. Maybe I read that. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if they still get this amount, but they say like 50,000 people, I guess, are supposed to come to that festival. They have it usually over the weekend, and then all the surrounding counties are usually yard sales all over the place. And I really like yard sales myself. Court Day is pretty nice too. The one in Preston, they sell animals there, like chickens and stuff like that. And they sell guns, food, lots of great food, and a bunch of other stuff as well. Axes. I'm sure there'd probably be a lot of axes there, swords. People from other countries, if I'm not mistaken, even come there and set up. And I believe I noticed that guy that does the chainsaw carvings down the road from me here. I noticed he had a lot of carvings last time I went by there, and I believe what he's doing is making them for Court Day. He's probably going to rent a booth or something and set them up. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt if that man wouldn't go there for a weekend and make $10,000 with those carvings. I wouldn't doubt it at all. When I got on earlier too, I realized I I'm almost to 300 subscribers, and I'm very happy about that, to be honest. I didn't expect it to grow that quick at all. Not saying that's real quick or anything. I know people grow much, much, much faster than that. I'm just saying, me personally, I didn't expect my channel to grow as quick as it has. I'm kind of surprised with some of the attention some of the videos have gotten, and I'm very happy with the positive feedback as well. And I hope I never say anything to offend people. I know sometimes I say things, but I try to say things that I believe are truth, you know, that I believe is the truth. And I don't want to offend people, but at the same time, I want to make it clear that I believe in the truth. You know, I believe it's right. Looks like I'm getting into some white oak there too. I think quite a bit of that was white oak. So much tougher, it seems like, a lot of times than the red oak is. One of my little girl's birthdays this weekend, Carter's birthday, was last month. And my other little boy, his is in December the 22nd, so 3 days before Christmas. And then my other little girl, who's 9 months now, hers is in January. Mine's in February. My wife's is July. So all of them, really, except my wife's, are pretty close together. Hers is the main one that's kind of a little ways off. Pretty tired at this point, you can tell by looking at me. As I said earlier, getting them out the way that I had to do here on this video, and I've had to do numerous times, to where you pack them out on your shoulder, that wears you out quick. So by the time you even get to splitting, I mean, you're already it's drained you quite a bit. I'll tell you something too that I plan to do soon is try to work on losing a little bit of weight, really. Just 270 is just too much for a man my height. Around 5'10", if that. I may be 5'9.5", 5'10", something like that. It's just a lot of weight to be carrying. I can just tell a difference. One of the main differences I can tell too is at nighttime, because I get acid reflux really bad, and I used to never get it, but now I get it to where I have it every day if I don't take medicine. And at nighttime, it seems like it tries to give me trouble with breathing and everything. There's been many times I've woke up at nighttime gasping. And the doctor told me they thought I had sleep apnea, and that I maybe needed a machine, and I never ended up going back and getting that. So I used to never have anything like that happen, though, when I was in better shape. So I'd like to get down to at least 250, really even maybe 240 or something. I don't think I'll ever be 200 again, to be honest. I just don't think I will. Even if I was lean, I don't think I'd be hardly 200 pounds again. I've gotten too much bigger. One of my other little boys is the same way. He's built just like me. Carter is 10 years old, and he's around 53, 55 pounds. My other little boy is 5 years old, and he's already over 70 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. He's built just like me, really. But he looks like his mommy. His face looks a lot like her. My little girl, my oldest one, she looks a lot like me. And then Nevaeh, she's trying to say it looks like her. That's my youngest little girl. Carter likes to say he looks like me the most, but we have the similar eye color, that's for sure. We both got hazel. I think we're the only two that have hazel eyes. I know this is random stuff I'm talking about. You can tell there I'm pretty wore out. I was tired. But yeah, I definitely plan to try to work on losing some weight. And I did it there for a while and lost, and then kind of just gave up on it. All right, more out. Got a load here though. Ready to go?
Yeah.
Really just got done splitting the last one. Threw it in there. Pretty good load. Mainly oak. Red and white oak, mainly red oak, a little white oak, and a little poplar. Anyways, that's it for this one. Don't know if I'm gonna get the delivery in there or not on this one. But anyways, if not, thanks for watching. Be safe and God bless when you do this. And as I said before, I wanted to mention, I know my method isn't for everyone. I know a lot of people it's probably not for. And you don't have to even deliver one of these loads or two of these loads or whatever. You can do it by the truckload or whatever you're comfortable with. You know, if you feel like doing this, just try it out and see what you think about it. It's not going to be something you jump into and just start delivering. A lot of people anyways, that you just jump into and can deliver big loads by hand doing this method. I know there's people that can, but it is taxing on the body physically. I'm exhausted right now. This storm's held off on us though. It, as you can see here, I've noticed in my videos, and I think it's the camera, and probably me too, but where I move fast sometimes, it almost makes me dizzy when I watch them. So I need to work on that. Soon I plan to have a better camera anyways.